Hello, and thank you for taking the time to watch this video. My name is Q2, and I am a CASA specialist with Child Advocates. I will be taking you on a court report journey in hopes of helping you compose the court report as well as give you a better understanding. Role of a CASA is to gather information about the child, advocate for a child's best interests. The court report is your chance to tell the judge what is going on. Who reads the court reports? The judge, children over the age of 12, attorneys, social workers, parents, and other parties on the case. The timeline of court reports. 8 weeks prior to the hearing, the court hearing notification, which are also called CHN, is sent from child advocates to CASA and their mentor and supervisor. 4 weeks prior, the court report via SurveyMonkey submission is due. If you know there is a hearing approaching, you do not have to wait for the CHN to be sent out in order to start the court report. You can start the court report ahead of time. Getting started with your report. Make sure you check in with your supervisor and mentor, social worker, and attorney. Sometimes there's a long waiting period, and you wait and wait. What do you do? If you do not hear from the social worker and attorney, still proceed with completing the court report via SurveyMonkey. You can find the SurveyMonkey link in the CHN email from Child Advocates, or you can check in with your supervisor and mentor for the link. Remember the following. The court report is a summary of key information since the last report, if applicable. Keep your report child-focused and fact-based. One court report can be submitted for sibling cases. What happens after completing SurveyMonkey? Complete the SurveyMonkey questionnaire by the due date. Results are sent to mentor and specialist. The specialist will now reformat into court report template for any further editing. Mentor and specialist will work with CASA on reviews and edits until they reach an agreed upon version. Approved version is submitted by specialist. There are 2 links for SurveyMonkey. The first link is titled CASA Court Reports. CASA to complete if completing a court report for one child. The second link is titled CASA Court Reports for Siblings. CASA to complete if completing a court report for more than one child that are siblings. You can also differentiate between the 2 by looking at the title. One is titled Court Reports, and the other is titled Court Reports for Siblings. Composition on SurveyMonkey. Make sure you answer all questions that are applicable. So for example, if I am doing a court report for a child that is under the age of 5, I'm going to go ahead and answer the questions that that state if the child is age 0 to 5. I can go ahead and skip the questions that are for children 6 and older, or for NMDs, which are non-minor dependent. Make sure you use clear sentences and complete sentences. Some of the questions will allow you to go ahead and input an answer. So if you're inputting an answer, make sure the sentences are complete and clear. Be sure all names and titles are correct. So for example, if I am a CASA and I spoke to both my CASA specialist and CASA mentor, I'll go ahead and input their name, Jane Doe, CASA specialist, Jan Doe, CASA mentor. Use examples of specific behaviors you have observed rather than your feelings. For example, if I were to describe that my child Bob has been improving in English and scoring an 8 out of 10 on his spelling test, which is 80%, I would input that very general versus inputting my feelings. So I would write, Bob is improving in English. He has been studying and has received an 8 out of 10 on his recent spelling test and is looking to increase his learning skills by potentially keeping his spelling test score at an 8 out of 10 or even more. Versus inputting your feelings would be, Bob got an 8 out of 10 on his spelling test. I feel as though Bob can get a 10 out of 10 if he continues to study, and he should put more effort into studying in order to get the 100% versus the 80%. Do not include interviews with social worker or attorney. For example, you could be meeting with a social worker who may share with you that the bio parent has been, the rights has been terminated, and now that a child will be placed on plan for adoption. So finding that information out, make sure you don't put that in the court report. That's something you would leave out. Do not include any information discussed at CFT, which are Child Family Team meetings. So this can be any information regarding the example of the interviews with the social worker, or it can be an example of placement. So for example, I may be working with an NMD who currently lives with a roommate but is having issues with the roommate and is looking for alternative placements. And at the CFT meeting, we discussed about potentially other possible placements. So just making sure you're not including that information in the court report. Any questions with an asterisk are required to be answered. On the SurveyMonkey questionnaire, you'll see questions by the number, there'll be asterisks. Those questions are required answers, so you have to answer that question in order to click the done button to submit the survey. So just be mindful when you are completing the SurveyMonkey and there are questions with the star, the asterisk that you have to answer in order to move forward. Flow of court report SurveyMonkey. Make sure you always double check the following: the spelling of the child's name, child's age, date of birth, and hearing information. The hearing information includes the petition number, the hearing date, and type of hearing, which can all be found in the CHN emails or the court order. If you're looking at the court order, any information circled in pink is pertaining to the hearing information. So in the matter of, it will be the child's full name, petition number, and then the date is usually the date you are appointed to the case. If you're looking at the CHN email, again, the petition number, the links to the SurveyMonkey, and then the hearing information, the date of the hearing, the department, the time, the type of hearing. What happens if you just don't know? And it's okay if you don't know. If you don't know the petition number, hearing date, and type of hearing, move forward. Your specialist and mentor will input that information. There's a question on the survey that states, please summarize impressions of the child and a summary of the interactions with the child and others involved in the case. Help the child come alive for the court. Address the child's strengths and child's interests. So what does this include? The summary includes the following. Since this question gives you an option to type in your answer, please keep it to 800 characters. Address the strengths and interests of the child. Include the activities and interactions with the child. Paint a picture of the child with facts. If more than one child, use names to indicate which child you are referring to. Some do's and don'ts. The court report is your chance to provide a snapshot of child's current situation. No opinions and feelings, just information. I'm going to go ahead and provide you 2 examples, and I'll go ahead and review if this is something you should do or shouldn't do. So the do and the don't. Rose Jones' relative. On March 6, 2017, Ms. Jones stated that Jennifer refused to go to school and she contacted the wraparound team. On March 10, 2017, she called the CASA and said that Jennifer refused to go to school again, and she told the wraparound team. The CASA is concerned about Jennifer's repeated refusal to go to school. On March 15, 2017, she said that everything was fine and that she has been able to handle Jennifer's behavioral issues. She said that she is having trouble finding a soccer team for Jennifer since she does not have internet access and needs some help. On March 20th, 2017, during the CFT meeting, she said that she is grateful for the support of the wraparound team. So, just a couple things I'm going to go ahead and point out. In this example, the CFT meeting is mentioned. A lot of information about the wraparound team is mentioned, but also feelings are also involved. So what I would do, this is something you don't do. Instead, this is another example. So Rose Jones' maternal grandmother, Miss Jones, stated that everything was fine and that she has been able to handle Jennifer's behavioral issues with the help of the wraparound team and is grateful for their support. She said that Jennifer had 2 incidences when she refused to go to school. CASA met with Miss Jones on 4 different occasions for the month of March. So the last sentence, CASA met with Miss Jones on 4 different occasions. You can definitely put 4 different occasions, which is a rough estimate if you can't remember exactly how many times you met with Miss Jones, or you can use the dates on the other slide and just say CASA met with Miss Jones on March 5th, March 10th, March 20th, for example. This is something you should do. There's also another question on the SurveyMonkey that states, please give greater details and reasons for any of the questions you answer above that needs elaboration. So what does this include? This includes children's placement. So this can be, for example, a non-minor dependent who is not placed at any of the options, might be placed at a group home, for example. So this is going to give you the option to elaborate on that if needed be. Children is whether they're satisfied or not satisfied with their current placement. If the siblings are placed together or not, if this is beneficial or not, and the visits are frequent or not. The grade the child is in and functioning at. So for example, Bob can be in 6th grade, but he's functioning at 3rd grade level. Special education services. So if Bob is receiving any special education services, if not, does he need to be essentially assessed for special education services? And it's okay if you don't know the answer to that question. For NMDs, which are non-minor dependent, whether they're attending high school, post-secondary vocational education, they're employed, receiving treatment, any medical condition. For children ages 0 to 5, are they attending any preschool or are they attending daycare? Are they developmentally age appropriate? And then for all ages, supervised and unsupervised visits. The last 3 questions on SurveyMonkey ask about the Health and Education Passport, which is also called the HEP. So I'm going to go ahead and just go over what the HEP is and why it is needed. The HEP is a binder document that travels with children to one placement to the next that has health information documented. It is okay if you have never viewed the HEP, just make sure to select the appropriate option. Why is the HEP needed? According to WIC code 16010, children in foster care are supposed to have a health and education passport summary. Since the HEP contains information regarding needed exams, referrals, and follow-up appointments, it would be ideal if a CASA would review the HEP with caregivers to ensure that the child's current and ongoing health needs and concerns are being addressed. Keep in mind that it's possible that the child doesn't have info in the form of an HEP since CASAs follow children who are placed at home. For children in foster care, it is important for families to have updated HEP summaries since some of the children are followed by different specialties and may have changes in medications and/or frequent placement changes when the HEP may be lost. CASAs can consult public health nurses, which are also called PHNs, or if they feel the placement or caregiver needs an updated HEP through the PHN program directory. This can be accessed by reaching out to your specialist and mentor, and they can send you the PHN program directory. What happens if you're still stuck? Join us. Join us for a writing workshop where we focus on answering questions about what to include and what not to include in the court report. These occur the second Thursday of every month and are announced on CASA News. You must RSVP. So please do RSVP if you are planning to attend the writing workshops, just because they could be canceled based on attendees. And the writing workshop is your chance to kind of attend to ask us any questions if you have any, but the goal is for you to come out with a drafted version so that you can submit. So once you complete the court report, essentially, once you complete the SurveyMonkey questionnaire, it'll be sent to your mentoring specialist. Your specialist will then send you the drafted version in the court report template, and your work for the approved version. Your specialist will then submit the approved version. So once that's done, your mission is accomplished. And how the court report document looks like is like this. And this is the document, a sample of a document that the judge will read, the social worker, attorneys, and all parties on the case will read. Thank you again for watching this video. My contact information is listed right here in case you do want to reach out to me. I also advise for you to reach out to your mentor or specialist if you have any further questions or concerns, but you can also reach out to me.